Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Ooh Lekker. Today I'm going to show you how to create this veggie stir fry that I made using the vegetables that were available to me. The nice thing about it is that you can tweak and change it according to whatever is available to you. As you can see, some of the veggies are brand new straight out of the packet. Others you can see I've used before. In terms of the veggies that I used, I started off by chopping half an onion into strips. Took about a 2 centimeter piece of ginger. I didn't use that whole piece that you see. Cut it also into strips and did the same with my garlic. This is not in the order that I cooked it. I then used 3 baby marrows, 2 small green onions, and about a quarter of each of those peppers. I use about a quarter of the Chinese cabbage and a handful of baby spinach, 4 mushrooms, and about half a head of broccoli. Okay, for prep and seasoning, these are the things that I used. I'll explain each of them. It's dark soy sauce, sesame oil, gochujang chili paste, sweet noodle sauce, and some sesame seeds. First, to prepare the egg noodles, I started off by boiling some water. I did not measure it. I didn't add any salt into the water. I think that the stir fry will be salty enough, but I used 2 bundles of egg noodles. This is the Woolies egg noodles. They make about 3 big portions of noodles if you're mixing it with your stir fry. Otherwise, it'll make about 4 normal sized portions. So I just brought that to a boil. I pulled them out when I thought they looked cooked. Yeah, not overcooked. You don't want to eat sloppy noodles, and you definitely don't want to be chewing on egg noodles. Once the noodles were cooked, I just placed them into a separate bowl on the side while I prepared my stir fry. To prepare my stir fry, I added in some sesame oil. You can see there was a little bit more in that bowl than what I initially had at the beginning of the video. I just thought I didn't really check. There is no set recipe for this. I just did flavors that I knew would work well. So into the hot oil, I added my garlic. I then went in and added my ginger, and you can see from the way the oil is sizzling, it was at quite a high temperature. I think I had it on 5. Once everything was in, I just gave it a good stir. The reason that I cook my garlic and ginger first is so that the oil is flavored with the garlic and ginger, so that everything that goes in will get the flavor. Don't let that burn, but the next thing I'm going to go in with is my gochujang, which is a Korean chili paste. It is seasoned with some sesame oil as well, so it's got a lot of flavor in, but if you don't have that or you don't have access to that, you can use some fresh chilies as well, or dried chilies. The next thing that I cooked was my onions. I always like to cook them a little bit so that they're not so raw tasting that they are a little bit sweeter. It's the only vegetable that I really do prefer to cook a little bit before. The rest of them I do prefer to have them quite crunchy and fresh. Just going to give those a quick stir so that everything is distributed evenly before I add in the rest of my veggies. Just a warning at this point to watch out, because the oil is really hot and it will shoot at you. As you can see, I am trying to protect myself by standing further away from the stove, but it must be cooked at a high heat, not at a low heat. The next thing I added was my bell peppers. I used about a quarter of each of the bell peppers, and I saved some for the next dish that I'm going to be making, which is a Thai green curry. Added them in with the onions. It's the second thing that I would like to cook before adding in the other veggies. Watch out, the oil is hot. Okay, at this point I went in with my half a head of broccoli. I did put them in the microwave for about 2 minutes just to steam a little bit so they weren't entirely raw. That's just because I'm not using tender stem, I'm using normal, your standard broccoli head. So I didn't want them to be a little bit too hard for the stir fry, and I also cut them up into smaller pieces than what was initially shown. Then I went in with my 3 baby marrows that I julienned, gave it a stir. Okay, spring onions. As I said, you don't need to have the exact ingredients that I have, but I would highly recommend using your spring onions because they add such a delicious flavor to your food. I then went in with my cabbage and my baby spinach. It really bulks up the meal as well. So if you have an unexpected visitor and you need to make the dish go a longer way, just add more cabbage or more spinach. I then went in with my mushrooms. I used 4 big brown mushrooms for this one. This is the part where it gets a bit messy because I've got a very small wok, so you need to stir very carefully so that you don't throw half of your stir fry out of the wok. Like I said, I didn't really measure my ingredients, but I just took about a dash of soy sauce, not too much. You don't want your food to be watery. I then added it to some June's sweet noodle sauce. It's a Chinese sauce, noodle seasoning, and then I mixed those together before adding it to the wok. You'll see it doesn't look like it's enough, but it really is. If you add too much soy sauce, your stir fry is going to be super watery. If for whatever reason it does happen to become watery, you can use some maizena with water, and then I just gave it a quick mix before creating a little bit of a well, and then in that well I'm going to add my noodles to soak up the last bit of sauce. That's also why I say don't overcook your noodles, because if you get them al dente, then you'll be able to just put them into that sauce and it will soak up the last bit and you will have anything but a soggy stir fry. Yes, that piece of broccoli bothers me too. At this point, I'm just going to add in my 2 bundles of noodles to soak up the sauce and to mix the veggies into the noodles. Try not to overcook your veggies. So you can see I've put them on the side, but I'm going to start folding them over so that they're sitting almost on top of the noodles while the noodles absorb the sauce. And you'll see the noodles are going to turn a completely different color. They're going to go almost brown, and that's why it's important to make sure that your noodles are not overcooked by the time you add them to your dish. And that's it. Finally, you are ready to plate. And like I said, we didn't use all of the stir fry. I was able to make another big bowl. Once everything's plated, you can just top them off with some sesame seeds. You can toast them if you like. And that is your veggie stir fry. I hope you guys try it out. Let me know. Enjoy!